beings are abducting the kids and giving them to the Greys, who in turn give them to the Alpha Draconans?
That's right. We can't really offer them except maybe do some work for them. They won't come up as long as we feed them down there. We can't really offer them except maybe do some work for them. You understand? It's about human beings selling themselves out. The echelon attitude here, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of humanity. And sorry, that just isn't right. But it's going to have to be humanity that's going to rise up and take the stand. You're just going to have to turn off your televisions. They're going to have to get in their car. They're going to have to fire everybody in Washington, D.C. that knows and does nothing. And they're going to have to do something. This apathy's got to end. Otherwise, the way we live is going to end. Look at what's happening around us. The indications are everywhere. Everywhere. The truth is now an obscure thing because they don't like us.
And what are they willing to do with humanity?
Eat us. There's no need for us. I mean, look at where we are. Look at us right now as a civilization, as a society. Okay? They don't need anything. They have all this technology that they want. We can't really offer them except maybe do some work for them. But they don't need all of us to work for them. They don't respect human life in any way whatsoever. We're starting to feed off each other now. They're ugly. I mean, they think we're ugly, too. And I guess it's all a matter of perspective and belief system. In my belief system, and I'm only taking responsibility for me, they're ugly. They're anywhere from 7 to 22 feet tall. They can weigh up to 1,800 pounds. They're reptilian. Whenever you see one, you ought to just run like hell. You shouldn't approach it. You shouldn't provoke it. Just get the hell out of its way. Just get out of its way. Just run. There is a way to kill them. If you can't cut off their head, they have two hearts. There's one here, underneath this armpit, and one here. Or if you can't get to that area and you need to slow it down, you need to hit it right above its groin area. It has a very large liver. You need to wound it there to slow it down. It is not something where man-to-man combat you're going to be able to deal with, because they apparently have the strength of 12, 15 men. They're incredibly quick. They're incredibly psychic. They know what you're going to do before you do it. If they get here in mass, we got real problems. They don't like us. We're considered a food source for them. For them. We're a food source for the Greys, but in an entirely different way, which right now is very dangerous for humanity, because it's part of the Great Plan. It's part of their regressive alien plan. Do you know that they're building concentration camps to put millions of people in? You've got the Greys over us, you've got the Reptilians underneath us, and between us you've got humanity of the human. You've got the American people, all of the world, but you've got humanity sandwiched in the middle, wondering what the hell is going on.
As one scientist put it, we would be better off not meeting them. Sleep tight.
The deeper issues behind this, and that is the issues that the things behind the pharaonic bloodline are in fact not human entities. This is something that a lot of people on the tube are waking up to. The reptilian agenda about these reptilian entities. We need to wake up to them. They are a reality. They are not human in any way, shape or form. And their business is death. It's not just a question of secret societies and Masons and international banking. We understand that. But we need to dig deeper and go further into this. What is happening? What are these symbols about? What do they mean? And we're starting to understand what they mean. They mean a different bloodline. And that different bloodline are the reptilians. We need to wake up that we have an intra-species predator amongst us. And this is a fact.
They have no hearts. They take decisions only money-wise and financially elite. They were in no war at all. It's very... do you think they might be reptilians?
I think that there are a lot of reptilians.
I know Switzerland is the base of the pharaohs, so you might say you're into reptilians and lizards. So would you say that Switzerland is the base of the reptilians?
The truth, yeah, it's a very, very, very evil place in terms of what it finances and what they get up to. We know that. We need to wake up that we have an intra-species predator amongst us. And this is a fact. And they are very clever. They're very patient and they're very ritualistic. As you can see, ritual is very, very important to them.
So it turns out that if aliens ever show up here on Earth, little green men might be the least of our problems. A new study indicates that instead, they'll probably be more like super intelligent dinosaurs. Sleep tight.
Shapeshifters. Does technology exist where someone can create a holograph around themselves? Yes, the technology does exist.
So it turns out that if aliens ever show up here on Earth, little green men might be the least of our problems. A new study indicates that instead, they'll probably be more like super intelligent dinosaurs, as smart and as cunning as humans. As one scientist put it, we would be better off not meeting them.
Have been the North Pole, or that appeared to have been the South Pole, is through this frozen lava alignment. For instance, off of Japan, there's cities and roads that they find under the water. In Bermuda, we see roads and walls and the like. Likewise, land can rise.
There would have to be evidence of these passages, ecological evidence, archaeological evidence that shows the calamitous events that transpired during each passage.
I can tell you this, that the word Messiah literally means the lizard king in Demotic or Pharaonic. And apparently there are quite a few people in various religions around the globe who wait for the return of the Messiah or lizard king. And they're not like us. And guess what the Pharaonic or Demotic word for crocodile is? Msha, M-S-S-H, as in Demotic, just as in Hebrew or Arabic, only the consonants are being written. And Msha almost sounds like a snake hissing, referring to the crocodile god of the pharaohs. So within this ancient serpent religion, the pharaohs await the coming of their god and creator, the Msha, or Messiah, as they force their serpent religion upon humanity through torture, by force, and by the violent priests of Amun.
So it turns out that if aliens ever show up here on Earth, little green men might be the least of our problems. A new study indicates that instead, they'll probably be more like super intelligent dinosaurs.
When I got out in 1989, we had cataloged 57 different species. You have individuals that look very much like you and myself that could walk among us and you wouldn't even notice the difference. Beings, so to speak, not necessarily look humanoid or be bipedal such as we are. But apparently, we got quite a few of the species out there that are humanoid in appearance. And that creates a question that yet has to be answered.
An hour, the object came into the frame, shot a beam of light at the warhead, flew up to the top, shot another beam of light at the warhead, flew around the direction it was flying, shot another beam of light at the warhead, flew down, shot another beam of light at the warhead, and flew out the same way it came in.
I'm Abby Martin, and this is Breaking the Set. So it's no secret that the U.S. military has over 5,000 nuclear warheads, enough to eliminate most life on Earth. But it may surprise you how much it costs just to maintain these weapons. Well, a new study from the Center for Non-Proliferation Studies just concluded that over the course of the next 30 years, the U.S. will spend nearly $1 trillion to either keep these weapons operational or modernize them. Because you know the Cold War never really ended. And if there's one thing we need to be spending billions of dollars on, it's mass killing machines. So while this country continues to lag behind in education, income equality, and sustainable energy, at least we can keep the people of the world up at night knowing that the Cold War is alive and well, and we got our nukes locked and loaded.
Now they're going to appoint a Earth contact ambassador for those aliens. Her name is Moslin Othman, and she's going to be known as the leader of the Office for Outer Space Affairs.
Reptilian humanoids used the caverns and tunnels for centuries. Later, Through RAND Corporation plans, it was enlarged repeatedly. The original caverns included ice caves and sulfur springs that the aliens found perfect for their needs. The Dals caverns rival Carlsbad caverns in size. Question: what exactly are the cattle and human organs such as blood, anal tissue, eyes, reproductive organs, tongues, etc. used for? That is the organs obtained via cattle and human mutilations. Answer: read the so-called Dals papers for more information. Question: are the various electromagnetically controlled air or spacecraft that have been seen leaving from and arriving at Mount Archuleta manned by humans, the alien entities, or both? Answer: Archuleta Mesa is a minor area. The craft leave, and are stored, in 5 areas. One is Say of Dals, one near Durango, Company 1 at Tos, Ain. M. And the main fleet is stored at Los Alamos, under. Question: others have suggested that some of the entities below Dals are not of extraterrestrial origin, and that they are actually descended from saurian or reptiloid beings such as the Velociraptors or Stenonychosaurus equus, a serpentine race or races similar to that hinted at in the 3rd chapter of the Book of Genesis. Answer: yes, some reptoids are native to this planet. The ruling caste of aliens are reptilian. The beige or white beings are called the Draco. Other reptilian beings are green, and some are brown. They were an ancient race on Earth, living underground. It may have been one of the draconian beings that tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden. Reptoids rightly consider themselves native Terrans. Perhaps they are the ones we call the fallen angels. Maybe not, either way, we are considered the squatters on Earth. Question: some have suggested that the so-called underground DT bases and tunnels may, for a large part, be literally thousands of years old. Constructions of an antediluvian race which attained to a considerable level of scientific complexity, and who were destroyed by a divinely initiated cataclysm which took place after they attempted to merge their science with the cult/supernatural forces. For instance, some have suggested that the Bermuda Triangle phenomena may be the result of an out-of-control Atlantean experiment that led to a space-time disaster which produced electromagnetic fallout in the triangle area and elsewhere after they had accidentally loosed powerful forces and energies into the world that they knew very little about. Do your observations tend to confirm or refute such a possibility? Answer: I'm not sure about the divine part, but these aliens consider themselves native Terrans. Question: where do the little gray aliens fit in? Answer: they work for, and are controlled by the Draco. There are other gray-skinned beings that are not in league with the Draco. Question: did you ever talk to any of the aliens at the base? Answer: since I was the senior security technician at that base, I had to communicate with them on a daily basis. If there were any problems that involved security or video cameras, I was the one they called. It was the reptilian working caste that usually did the physical labor in the lower levels at Dals. Decisions involving that caste were usually made by the White Draco. When human workers caused problems for the working caste, the reptoids went to the White Draconian boss, and the Draco called me. At times, it felt like it was a never-ending problem. Several human workers resented the no-nonsense or get-back-to-work attitude the working caste lives by. When needed, intervention became a vital tool. The biggest problem were human workers who foolishly wandered around near the off-limits areas of the alien section. I guess it's human nature to be curious and to wonder what is past the barriers. Too often someone found a way to bypass the barriers and nosed around. The cameras near the entrance usually stopped them before they got themselves in serious trouble. A few times I had to formally request the return of a human worker. Question: are there other sites tied into the shuttle network other than those which you mentioned, and if so, where are the entrances? Answer: where? Everywhere. They crisscross the world as an endless subterranean highway. Like a freeway, except this one is underground. That highway depends on electric motors, for trucks, cars and buses, for the paved roads, and it is for limited travel. There is another style of transit for freight and for passengers that is for rapid travel. That worldwide network is called the subglobal system. It has checkpoints at each country entry. There are shuttle tubes that shoot the trains at incredible speeds using a maglev vacuum method. They travel at a speed that excels the speed of sound. Part of your question involves the location of entrances to that base. The easiest way to answer is to say every state in the USA has them. Frequently, the entrances are camouflaged as sand quarries, or mining operations. Other complex portals are found on military bases. New Mexico and Arizona have the largest amounts of entrances, followed by California, Montana, Idaho, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Kansas, Arkansas and Missouri. Of all the states, Florida and North Dakota have the least amount of entrances. Wyoming has a road that opens directly into the subterranean freeway. That road is no longer in use, but could be reactivated if they decide to do so, with minimal cost. It's located near Brooks Lake. Question: are there any bases in the state of Utah? Have you heard anything about an alleged underground installation within the Wasatch Mountains? Answer: Salt Lake, Lake Powell area, Dark Canyon, Dugway Grounds, Modena, Vernal. All have exits there. Others too. Question: does the Mount Archuleta shuttle system connect with a shuttle system which allegedly radiates from Mount Shasta in Northern California? Answer: yes. Mount Shasta is a major site of alien, elder race, reptilian race, human meetings. Beginning with Cleveland and Grover, every president in U.S. history has visited Telos City. Truman was supposed to have visited the lower realms as a high archon on Earth. He was supposed to have met the king of the world there, and gave him the keys to the USA. Truman received assurance to new high-tech knowledge, and victory over all enemies on Earth. He then was introduced to Samaza and Coach, aliens from Boots and Typhon, Draco, both reptilian kings or ambassadors. Truman updated the 100 Treaty that began in 1933, Roosevelt, and requested magnetic advance, space knowledge and experiments. Coach agreed, Samaza partially agreed. He exchanged hostages for genetic experiments and magnetic advance, but vetoed space and beam weaponry. Question: did you notice any involvement of high-level Freemasons, Rosicrucians or Jesuits within the underground installation and or with the aliens? Answer: yes, I did, but that is a loaded question, and I won't comment further. I'm not a Mason, or a member of any other secret fraternal group. There is one organization I'm a member of, in the USA. That group is commonly called the Central Unit. It is a pleasure to tell you that I am a member of the Subgalactic League of Costa Rica. Question: is there any truth to the allegations that the CIA/aliens have established bases on the Moon, and also Mars? Answer: I've heard that too, but I haven't seen proof with my own eyes. The aliens do allegedly have bases on several moons of Jupiter and Saturn. The CIA operates in other countries, but I've never heard they operate on other planets. Question: have you heard any hints or rumors suggesting that there may be lower levels beneath the Ultra 7 level of the dull space, and also, where these might lead to and what they might consist of? Answer: yes. Your guess is as good as mine. Sure, there was lots of talk, but that doesn't mean it's there. However, I will tell you I saw elevators that were off limits unless you had an Umbra or higher security clearance. At that base, information is supplied to me at a need-to-know basis only. My clearance was Ultra 7. Question: some insist that the U.S. secret government has developed its own disk craft based largely upon top-secret anti-gravity experiments carried out by the Nazi German scientists during World War II. Have you heard anything referring to this? Answer: when I was working in photo security, heard a lot of talk, never saw the proof, but once in the Air Force I developed a roll of film that showed the craft like Adamski's, with a swastika on the side. Question: Tom, did you have access to the alien craft? Were you ever inside any of them? Answer: yes, I frequently saw them in the garages. There are quite a few of them. The main fleet is stored at Los Alamos. Yes, I entered several crafts. There were two things that stick in my mind: the odd spongy feeling of the floors, and the unusual pinkish-purple color of the lighting. The crew stated the floor becomes rigid in flight, and the purple tint of the lighting changes to bright blue-white. The entire inside of the aircraft are scaled down in size, when compared to the average human. The halls were curved and narrow, but somehow, when inside it appears bigger than it looks. Certain areas, the outermost sections, almost felt and looked alive. I was never taken up in one. Question: can you give me more information on the reptilian race? What do they do on the 6th level, the area called Nightmare Hall? Answer: the worker caste does the daily chores, mopping the latex floors, cleaning the cages, bringing food to the hungry people and other species. It is their job to formulate the proper mixture for the Type 1 and Type 2 beings that the Draco race has created. The working caste work at the labs as well as at the computer banks. Basically speaking, the reptilian races are active at all levels of the DAL space. There are several different races of aliens that work on the east section of level 6. That section is commonly called the alien section. The Draco are the undisputed masters of the 5, 6, 7 levels. The humans are second in command of those levels. I had to argue with one large Draconian boss frequently. His name is difficult to verbalize, Karshfishst, pronounced Throtika SSHH Foshus ST. I usually called him Karsh, and he hated it. The Draconian leaders are very formal when talking to the human race. These ancient beings consider us a lower race. Karsh called me Lila Costello, but it was used in a sarcastical way. However, the worker caste is friendly enough, as long as you allow them to speak first. They will answer if you address them. They are very cautious beings, and consider most humans to be hostile. They always seem surprised when they found many of the humans were open and trustworthy. There is no fraternizing with the aliens off hours. It is forbidden to speak to any alien race, in the halls or an elevator, without a clear business-oriented reason. Humans can talk to humans, and aliens can speak to aliens, but that is as far as it goes. At the work site, however, it's different. There is free speech in the labs. The camaraderie found in the labs also reaches the computer banks section. In those areas, everybody talks to anybody. However, everything changes the minute you cross the threshold of the hall. Instantly, all conversations become strictly formal. Hard as it was, several times I had to arrest someone, simply because they spoke to an alien. It's a strange place. Question: exactly what first made you aware that something was wrong at Dulles? Seems to me that a place as obviously horrible as this one wouldn't need an Einstein to know that this is a crime site. What took you so long? Are you the guy who blew the whistle? Answer: there are several things you should know about. I took an oath, under the penalty of death, that no matter what I saw or heard I would never divulge the information. Also, I signed a waiver that states I would willingly give up my life if I was found guilty of treason. At the Dulles-based prison is anything that mentions the details of daily operations at this facility, when outside the confinement of this base. When I first arrived, a need-to-know policy was in effect. The story the Hamcos told us was that this is a tri-bio-transfer facility with advanced technology, doing advanced adventurous methodology for medical and mental gains. Which is a fancy way of saying they do really risky things with human life just to see what would happen. If a medical cure happens, it will be heralded on the surface of the earth as a marvelous new cure, saying it was found after years of research at some well-known medical lab. The real story of the cure is never explained. After all, the Dulles base is a secret facility. These people are very good at what they do. They do not tell the truth about the unfortunate people that end up in Nightmare Hall. I worked with aliens. With that in mind, you should get the idea of the secrecy and the security at that place. Yes, I know this was not the usual hospital-type job site, but in the beginning I bought the whole package. I was reminded daily by intercom, in the elevators, that this site is high-risk advanced medical and drug testing to cure insanity. Please, never speak to the inmates, it can destroy years of work. I'm sensible, when doctors say don't speak to them, who was I to destroy the delicate situation? But one man somehow caught my eye. He repeatedly stated that he was George S. and that he had been kidnapped and he was sure someone was searching for him. I don't know why he sticks in my mind. I found I was remembering his face, thinking he sure didn't look or sound insane, but many inmates said that. The next weekend I convinced a friend of mine, a cop, to run a check on the guy, saying I had a run-in with him and was curious. I didn't mention the base at all. It was a sickening feeling when the computer confirmed that George S. was missing. What's worse, the cops thought he was just another guy that got tired of the daily grind and split. That was the beginning. Am I the one that blew the whistle? No. The next Monday, I searched for George, but he was gone. There were no records that explained what happened to him. It was another security officer that came to me saying he and some lab workers wanted an off-duty meeting at one of the tunnels. Off the record. Curiosity took over and I said okay. That night, about 9 men showed up. They said they knew they were risking me turning them in, but they wanted to show me some things they thought I should see. One by one they showed records that proved many inmates were missing people. There were newspaper clippings, and even photos that they had somehow smuggled into the base. They hoped to smuggle them back out, without me turning them into the Honkos. I could see the fear in their faces as they spoke. One man stated he would rather lose his life by trying, than to lose his soul by not doing anything at all. It was that remark that turned the tide. I told them about George and the things I found out about him. After a few hours we pledged to attempt to expose the dull space. Question: the name Nightmare Hall is descriptive, but surely there was a regular name. What was it called in the manuals? Answer: in the manuals it was called the vivarium. It describes dull space as a secured facility for tending bioforms of all types. In the report it is retold as a private subterranean bioterminal park, with accommodations for animals, fish, fowl, reptile, and mankind. After seeing this park, the name Nightmare Hall is far more accurate than the manual. The accommodations for the inmates at Nightmare Hall fall short of the pretty picture the manual describes. Question: you mentioned one reptilian leader, Karshfist. Do you know anything about him, like where is he from? Is he from Earth or some other planet? Answer: his name means keeper of the laws. They receive their name after they reach the age of awareness. They do not recognize time as an important factor and being aware the way humans do. Upon their age of awareness they are cognitive of the station or position they are destined to fulfill. At that time they chose or allow someone to choose their name. Their name will include the position they hold and several personally chosen letters. Each letter has a personal meaning, known only to the alien and the one that chose their name. Since Karsh's name means keeper of the laws, his name includes cache, memory or keep, base word for akashic record, and fascist, law, base word fast or bind. Reptilians choose to be not only private but secretive of the location of their natal place. To them birth, or emergence of life, is considered as one of the sacred rights of life. They consider Earth or Terra their home planet, but several reptoids discuss several star maps. Most of those stars were within the Milky Way. Within those star maps lies the stars and planets of the Allegiance. Earth being one of the planets in their trade routes. If any human asked clear questions about the Allegiance, the aliens referred the questions to the Draco. The Draco in turn, referred the questions to their supervisor, me. I did not have that information about the stars, because information was supplied on a need-to-know basis. I didn't need that information. Question: did any of the working caste join in the revolt? Could you give me some names? Answer: A few of the Reptilian janitorial crew let us know that they knew we were attempting to sabotage the work going on in the 6th and 7th levels. One of them, with the name Shell, secretly formed a small group of reptoids with the same mindset as my group. Shell took upon himself the danger of informing me. He was as open as is possible in a unique situation. On the day I found out about it, I was inspecting a camera near an exit tunnel. He approached, stooped down, seemingly scraping some non-existent dirt, and he quietly said, "A few of us agreed that you are singular in your interest in missing human reports. If true, walk away. I'll reach you. If it's untrue, destroy my life now." My heart almost leapt out of my chest, but I silently walked toward one of the white halls. For the rest of my life I'll remember those words. It was the first time I knew reptilians could have individual thoughts and opinions. Basically, they formed a uniform front with a small variety of interests. Or at least, that was what we had thought. It was a couple days before I heard from him again. As he walked beside me in the 6th level's infamous hall, I heard him say, "Enter the exit tunnel on the 6th level, north, after your shift." The next few hours were long and filled with thoughts of betrayal, or worse, but I shouldn't have worried. I contacted one of the original 9 resistance men, and let him know, just in case. Gordon wanted to go with me, but I convinced him to wait a few feet from the exit and pretend he was having trouble with his cart, electric, like a golf cart. When I got there, there were 3 of them. Kal formerly introduced Fasha and Huamsha, name base word is shell or assist. With that, I quickly grabbed Gordon from the hall and the 5 of us talked and walked in the dark tunnels about 3 hours. After that day, the joint resistance group got bigger and bolder. Ultimately, it ended when a military assault was initiated via the exit tunnels and they executed anybody on their list, human or reptilian. We fought back, but none of the working cast had weapons, nor did the human lab workers. Only the security force and a few computer workers had flash guns. It was a massacre. Everyone was screaming and running for cover. The halls and tunnels were filled as full as possible. We believe it was the Delta Force, because of the uniforms and the method they used, that chose to hit at shift change, an effort that killed as many as named on their list. We, to this day, do not know who betrayed us. Gordon Amory ran beside me as we ran into the 3rd level exit tunnels, and he died when several bullets slammed into his back. I vaporized that assassin and kept running. And I'm still running. Gordon will be remembered. Question: tell me more about the flash gun. Is it difficult to operate, or is it like the weapon on Star Trek, that can stun or kill on different modes? Answer: it is an advanced beam weapon that can operate on 3 different phases. Phase 1, like Star Trek, can stun and maybe kill, if the person has a weak heart. On Phase 2, it can levitate anything no matter what it weighs. Phase 3 is the serious business mode. It can be used to paralyze anything that lives, animal, human, alien and plant. On the higher position on the same mode, it can create a temporary death. Let me assure you, any doctor would certify that person is dead, but their life essence lingers in some strange limbo, some kind of terrible state of non-death. In 1 to 5 hours the person will revive, slowly. First the bodily functions will begin, and in a few minutes, consciousness followed with full awareness. In that mode the alien scientists reprogram the human brain and plant false information. When the person awakes, he recalls the false information as information he gained through life experience. There is no way for a person to learn the truth. The human mind remembers and believes completely the false data. If you attempt to inform them, they would laugh or get angry. They never believe the truth. Their mind always forgets the experience of reprogramming. You asked if the flash gun is difficult to operate. A 2-year-old child could use it with one hand. It resembles a flashlight, with black glass conical inverted lens. On the side are 3 recessed knobs and 3 curved grooves. Each knob is sized differently. The closer the knob to the hand, the less the strength. It's that simple. Each knob has 3 strengths also, with automatic stops at each position. The strongest position will vaporize anything that lives. That mode is so powerful it will leave no trace of what it vaporized. Question: is the weapon called a flash gun, or is there a different name in the manuals? Answer: everybody calls them flash guns, or more commonly the flash or my flashes when talking about it. In the manual it is first introduced as the Armorlux weapon. After that, it is explained as the flash gun. Question: what type of security is found at the Dulles base? What else is used against espionage or unauthorized entry? Answer: I'll mention a few, but it would be nearly impossible to cover it all. The weapon, besides the flash gun, mostly used as a form of sonic. Built-in with each light fixture, and most camcorders, is a device that could render a man unconscious in seconds with nothing more than a silent tone. At Dulles there also are still and VCR cameras, eye-print, handprint stations, weight monitors, lasers, LFDM equipment, heat sensors and motion detectors, and quite a few other methods. There is no way you could get very far into the base. If you made it to the 2nd level, you would be spotted within 15 feet. More than likely, you would become an inmate and never see the light of the surface world again. If you were lucky, you would be reprogrammed and become one of the countless spies for the ruling caste. Question: according to certain reports, the Dulles base is host to other aliens that live in level 5. Is that true? Can the humans freely roam or meet one-to-one in the halls, or is some type of protocol in effect? Answer: there is protocol from the first time you enter the base, and it must be followed every time you see an alien there. From the working caste, to the visiting aliens, to the ruling caste, there is a never-ending checklist of rules, law, and strict protocol. There is never a chance to roam on the 5th level. The alien housing area is off-limits to any human. The hub is surrounded by security, arsenal, military and CIA/FBI sections. The area past the security is one of the most secured areas because it houses so many classified files. The entire east side of the 5th level is off-limits except for security personnel holding Ultra 7 security clearance, or higher. The garage on the west side of the 5th level requires Ultra 4 clearance. Question: is there proof available that could confirm the allegations of the underground base, or are we just supposed to believe you? Answer: many people have asked that one. No, I don't expect people to believe with blind faith. There is tangible proof that has been seen, felt or inspected by quite a few folks. I'm in no position to go on a lecture circuit to explain to every person on a one-to-one basis. I am trying to stay alive. All I can do is state again, that Dulles is a secret facility. They work hard to make sure nobody can find the place. If everyone could easily find it, it wouldn't be a secret facility. I've explained the extreme security methods they use. There is other proof available. There are 5 sets of copies in 5 different boxes in 5 different locations that hold complete proof of everything I have tried to explain. Here is a list of contents of each box. Box A, 27 sheets of 8x10 photographs of aliens, creatures, cages and vats. Box B, 1 silent candid videotape, begins on the computer banks, shows the vats, multi-shots of Nightmare Hall, 2 shots of Grace, 1 shot of the terminal showing signs saying to Los Alamos, and about 30 seconds of the shuttle train arriving. Box C, 25 pages of diagrams, chemical formulas and schematics of alien equipment. Box D, a copy of the new treaty complete with signatures. Box E, 2 pages of original alien documents signed by Ronald Reagan, as Governor of California. Each page includes Reagan's signature. The original set mentioned above is sealed in a 1-piece, oxygen-free, heavy plastic box. That set includes 27 sheets of 8x10 with original negatives, the videotape, and the original microfilm, from which the videotape was copied. The 25 original pages of diagrams, with notations, formulas, alien equipment schematics plus the schematics for the flash gun and my flash gun. The treaty with Reagan's signature plus 7 other political signatures and for alien signatures. The working flash gun in that box is an extremely dangerous weapon. In the wrong hands, there is no limit on the danger it could inflict. That proof must be protected. But when placed in the hands of certain government agencies, it would not be treated as proof for an alien visitation. That government branch knows the truth and they publicly lie. Think about it like this. Do you know, for certain proof, that George Washington lived? Or do you believe what other people said about him? There is no one alive that saw with their own eyes what is claimed about him. You judge all you know about him by what other people said. Columbus said there is a new land, and it was found. I am saying there are aliens in several underground bases in this country and terrible things happen in those places. If I die, before it is proven, search for proof. Demand that the government admit it. If enough people demand it, they will find a way to explain the base, or at least explain why they must keep it secret. There are many people that work at the Dell space that know me. I am challenging those co-workers to speak up, at least anonymously. Send a letter, or a telegram, or fax, to confirm what I have explained. In the name of the brave men, women, children and aliens that died trying to let the public know what is going on at the Dulles facility, expose that horror place before thousands more innocent people are tortured and die unspeakable deaths. Question: what about the elevators? Do they drop from the surface to the 7th level in a couple of seconds? Do you know anything